Hello and happy beginning of another week. Today is Monday, and we are on day number 8. Can you believe it? You've made it. Basically, you've made it. We have today and 2 more days. And even if you haven't followed it exactly, at least, you know what? At least you tried something different. And maybe you can try it again. You see, we have to be more relaxed about this whole thing. I know that I've noticed that a lot, sometimes quite a lot of people quit because they get too obsessed or uptight about things. And yes, it is good to be that, I mean, to aim for perfection, but sometimes, sometimes the first time you try something, it doesn't go that, exactly the way you wanted it. And that's okay. Then you try it again, and then you try it again. The main thing, like I tell my group in the 7 day program, is that we're just giving up. It's just not an option because if you give up, you're giving up on your health, on your life, on you're giving up on everything because without health, what can we do without health? Nothing. Thank you for being part of this. I would probably have done this if it wasn't that I am excited to log in every day and do this together. Doing this type of programs is always so much fun and it's much easier to do when you're with a group, don't you all think? So thank you for doing that, and thank you for a lot of things. Also, thank you for some of you have sent me some donations, and I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for the pictures that you send me. And also, thank you for some of the emails or all of the emails with your comments. They're very uplifting. I'm here on this side of the camera. And sometimes, I'm talking to this camera here, this computer, and I don't know if I'm helping you, if I'm making any difference. Uh, and so I keep doing it because I keep hoping that I do help. But it is good to hear from you and hear your stories of success. And even if it's not success, even if it's struggles, at least you're there. I can help you. I answer my own emails, and so I sometimes may take a day or two to answer, but I honestly want to be of help, of any help I can. Okay, so I love the encouragement to keep going even when we got off track. Yeah, too. I mean, it's just we're all a work in progress here, and as long as we come back and get back on the road, that's really what matters. Okay, so I will start today with a comment that is really, thank you for sending me this. It's um, very helpful. So I'm going to read it, and I'm going to make comments about this because there's a lot to learn from here. So one of you sent me an email saying, I'm unable to watch live, and I also started a day late. So I'm on day, 1 day behind. So yeah, that's one comment. Sometimes, I mean, if you can't be there live, it's okay for this program or any other program that I do. Yeah, as long as you try to keep up, uh, you will have success. I want to let you know how much I'm loving this mini. Not only am I feeling great, but I'm also finally, and you put it in capital letters, learning how to eat whole food plant-based. I This is one of the biggest surprises of all that I've had. So many people who have been doing this for a long time or for shorter time tell me that when I do this program, and again, I'm not a genius. All I'm doing is I'm gathering all the information that I received during the last 10 years. I was very lucky and blessed to be able to spend time at places like the McDougall program and True North and learn and go to conference and gather all this information and pass it on to you in a simplified version. So I am surprised. I continue to be surprised when somebody tells me that finally they're learning to eat whole food plant-based, because in most of the times, for some reason, there was too much. Maybe there was an information overload, and so you said, "Oh, and I've lost 9 pounds in 6 days." Wow. Okay. I know it's water weight. Well, not all of it, but also know losing that liquid helps blood pressure and blood sugar. Yeah, you're correct. Plus, it's so motivating to keep going as I have a lot to lose. Okay. So then you say, I was confused when I stopped eating animal products several months ago. So you're new to this. Okay. Welcome to the world of whole food plant-based. I had no idea how to eat and still keep my blood sugar and blood pressure in check and lose weight, and also to ensure I was getting proper nutrition. I totally misunderstood the role of protein and what foods to eat to get it. Because there are so many doctors, authors, coaches, and YouTubers explaining how to eat this way, and many of them conflict, I was overwhelmed and lost. Oh, there's the point. That's the problem, people. When you're trying to, to do this, find the doctor that resonates with you, and for at least for a while, listen to one voice. It's like you're almost in any other aspect of life. If you go to 10 different lawyers, you're going to get 10 different opinions, and 10 different architects are going to tell you 10 different things. Everybody has their own little book. Okay. So for me, it's Dr. McDougall. Okay. I'm not saying that that's going to be yours, but to me, he's the pioneer. He is a pillar. To me, he's the one that makes the most sense. To me, he's the one that has demonstrated throughout time that everything he says at some point gets corroborated, that it's correct. So to me, that is the person. Also, Dr. Esselstyn, okay, and Dr. Barnard, for example. There are many that I listen to, but those are, Campbell, I could say that. That is important, that what you're saying here, it's so easy to get confused and overwhelmed if you're listening to 20 or 30 different people at the same time. So you're saying here, continuing with the email, you're the first person I've heard who mentioned this issue. At first, I stayed away from the starch solution because eating that much starch just went against everything I'd been told and learned over the last 20 years. Okay. I had been doing forms of keto for 15 years after being diagnosed type 2. And so when I began this way, I went wild, eating and overeating all foods I was prevented from eating for so many years: pasta, bread, legumes, fruits, etc., and put on 10 pounds. Yeah, it's easily to put 10 pounds with those kinds of foods. What I'm finding doing this program with you is realizing how to keep things simple and truly eat whole foods and foods that I normally eat and like. I'm happy, feel better, not chronically tired, no cravings, eating smaller portions and feeling very full. Of course, that happens because of the intact fiber that we're eating. I finally understand the concept of calorie density and how to use it when planning meals. You mentioned how some cookbooks and websites use complicated recipes, and unfortunately, those are the ones I began with months ago. After buying all the ingredients and doing all that work, the food didn't even taste good to me, and I became disheartened. I realized that there is a curve, your taste buds, that there is a curve your taste buds go through when beginning to eat this way and actually taste the foods themselves. I mean, how many people starting out have been so disappointed after making cheese sauce? There really is no such thing. The only cheese sauce is made is with cheese. So, well, although I have to say, well, first of all, I'm not in that doesn't call my attention, but I do know that by now, after so many years of trying things, there are some people out there that can make some amazing cheese sauce without using cheese, but I haven't tried it. So I began calling them veggie sauces, and I am able to adapt them for my palate. Okay. Then you say to finish. Anyway, when I started this mini with you, I was afraid of eating so many potatoes as they were taboo in my past. But boy, are they tasty, satiating, easy, and they have dropped my blood sugar to normal and are lowering my blood pressure in just 5 days. My plan when I finish these 10 days is to slowly add in beans and find out just how much that works for me. The same with rice, pasta, and bread. This has already been a huge boost for me. I feel so confident that I can lose weight eating whole food, plant-based, and it doesn't matter the speed, just as long as it's constant downtrends. So thank you for putting this together and have, okay, very good. Another thing you mentioned here, let's focus on our health, like I tell my participants in the 7-day program. Let's focus on our health. Let's take the pressure off the scale and losing weight because that will happen. The main thing, like you're saying here, is that the trend in the scale is down. And that is why it's for many people, including me, it's not a good idea to weigh yourself every day because weight goes up and down, like blood pressure, like blood sugar, like many other things. And what you want to look at is the trend. So weighing once a week or even once a month, I weigh more like once a month, sometimes every 2 months. But at the beginning, 10 years ago, I weighed every Monday morning, I weighed myself. And the trend for months was always down. Sometimes it was 5 pounds in a month, in a week. Sometimes it was 3, sometimes it was more, it was depending on what I ate. I noticed that when I ate potatoes and sweet potatoes, I always lost more than with anything else. So that worked for me. But as long as the trend goes down, even if it's 1 month, 1 pound a month, okay, just think about it. In 12 months, that's 12 pounds. That's a lot. Put in a scale, 12 pounds of I don't know, of something, it's of some fruits or vegetables. It's a lot. So as long as the trend is going down, we care about that. So doing my best, not perfect. Thank you for being here. Very good. I totally understand. Question: if one is not losing weight and one may need to reduce starch, how does one get the calories? That is a good question. Very good question. Number one, I would need to know a little bit more about what you have been eating during these days. Please send me an email. I don't mind. Tell me exactly, or for the next 3 days, tell me exactly what you're eating. Tell me how many more pounds you need to lose, because that makes a big difference. If you need to lose 70 or 80 pounds, we have to adapt things in a way. But if you're wanting to lose 10 pounds and have lost most of the weight, that's a different story. So I can give you a better answer that way. Reducing the starch too much is not a good idea. It's just not. But we can talk about different types of starches and what you eat with the starches, and if you're drinking maybe add a little bit more water. Remember that this is not part of the Mary's Mini, but I do recommend, because many of the doctors that I've learned from recommended that you drink a full glass of water first thing in the morning. It really helps. And since we're eating so many fruits and vegetables in this program, well, not in this particular program, we're not eating a lot of fruit, but so many vegetables and starch that already have water in them, we don't worry too much about drinking 6, 8 glasses of water, but it is good to start the day with one. It is good at the end of the day to have another. And then during the day, if you can get in 2 or 3, maybe 2 more, that, that's plenty. But drinking water helps with weight loss. Sometimes when you're hungry or just before you sit down to eat, if you have a glass of water or half a glass of water, that is also going to help to get you to maybe eat just a little bit less and cut down on the calories. But again, I need to know a few more details. So if you don't mind, send me an email. And yes, I finally ate whole food plant-based after years of trying. And now I'm looking forward okay, then craving the plant-based food I can't eat now. Yes, Gustavo, I understand the overwhelmed watcher. Great advice. Keep it simple. Yeah, I was very blessed, just lucky that I found Dr. McDougall. I don't know, he really resonated with me. I went to his program. I learned the basics from him, and I got all the recipes from the program, which is an all-you-can-eat buffet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I made it. But I am sort of a compulsive buyer of cookbooks and magazines like Forks Over Knives. Because I like to cook, but I almost never make them, but I like to look at the pictures. But it can be overwhelming to have all that info. Okay, so Christine says, down 5.2 pounds during this Mary's Mini, down 84 pounds since June 23. Oh, congratulations. What a successful story. That is wonderful. All right. So here we go. Let me do my little sharing that we do daily, or as if I have something. So keep sending me pictures, because then I can show them here. So here's Mary's Mini, and we're on day 8. And one of you sent me this photo, and it says baby golden potatoes with chopped mint and cider vinegar with sauteed red cabbage, onion, and apple with balsamic vinegar. This is about half of a small cabbage. Very good. I love those baby golden potatoes. I love them like that, steamed already with some rosemary. And then I eat them like that. And then if I have leftovers, because remember, cook a lot, because then you can cut them in half or in fourths, put them on parchment paper or any silicone sheet in the oven, and you get crispy and creamy potatoes that are wonderful. Okay, so this is rosti, which is hash browns with tomatoes and spring onions, scallions. Okay, that looks so good. Wow, to put tomatoes and scallions on little things like this, you see, it makes hash browns again more interesting. And the next day you put something different on it, or you put another side with it, and you keep finding variety. One of you said, finally, I captured a photo of my food for you. It looks like you're there in the car going somewhere. So you're having tea and a potato. Yeah, I mean, I don't, that's a potato. Yeah, it could be a sweet potato. But let me tell you, carrying with you when you go out and you know you're going to be out several hours, taking with you in the car a few potatoes or sweet potatoes, baked or roasted, is a lifesaver because you take a few bites and any cravings or any hunger goes away because it's already, been proved that the potato is one of the foods that produces the most satiety. Okay, so, I love Hasselback potatoes. Oh, look at that. I am going to do it. I have the little kitchen gadget that does that. And I'm going to do it like you did it with the teriyaki balsamic, and then you bake it. Ooh. And then also did some with teriyaki. Okay, and then it looks like you have some steamed vegetables there. Okay. And then my breakfast this morning, roasted potatoes, roasted butternut squash, and sauteed bok choy, mushrooms, onions, and garlic drizzled with sweet heat balsamic from California. It was delicious. Okay, I don't know if I showed, maybe I already showed this one before, but all right. So do any of you know what samosas are? Well, they're one of my favorite foods when you go to an Indian, to a restaurant from, with food from India. Indian food is great. The problem with food from India, for me at least, is that I haven't been able to find a restaurant that makes Indian food without oil. The food is great. They have so many spices and condiments that are delicious, but they tend to use a lot of oil, at least for me. I mean, I don't eat a drop of oil. So, but one of my favorite things, one of the many, is the samosas, which is this flaky pastry that is fried. So obviously I don't eat it. Uh, I guess it could be baked, but I don't know. It traditionally is fried and it's flaky and it's delicious. And the inside, the filling, as you can see there, is very easy to make. And I made it last night because I had to go to a party and I wasn't going to eat anything that was not compliant. I didn't make it like this because I didn't use pastry. I just made the filling, and guess what? Everybody else that was eating meat ended up eating this. So I had, I had one serving, but they all loved it, as it usually happens. People don't realize how delicious our food is. So this has two ingredients, okay? And so what I did is I filmed myself making this yesterday. I haven't had time to edit the video, but I'm going to do it this afternoon, and then I will show you the video. It's potatoes and peas. And garlic. That's basically it. Okay, it's very simple. But again, we need to understand that simple can be delicious. So you just steam I steamed 3 potatoes with the skin on. When they're soft, then you let them cool and you take the skin off. You steam them with the skin on so that they don't absorb so much moisture. Anyway, then you barely mash them because you want it to have pieces like that. And then you add some chopped garlic and peas. What makes this delicious is actually the spices that you use. So anyway, I'm going to be sharing this in case you want to make the filling, and then you eat the filling like that with a side. But if you wanted to try, I have a potato-based dough that I could have made to fold it like that and have it, but I didn't because I didn't have time and didn't feel like doing that. But it could be made like that. All right, so that's all the pictures that I have for you today. Let's see here. And okay, any questions? Anybody? Any comments? If you want to type or if you want to unmute, go ahead. and I'll do my best to answer anything.
Hi, Gustavo.
Hello. Hi,
Um,
Lorraine.
I think it was Christine who was saying, why am I not losing weight or whatever? And you had a slide in the detox about there was a list of reasons why you wouldn't be losing weight if you were doing this. She was
Mhm.
talking about reducing her starch. And I think that's the biggest mistake that all of us make. We
Mhm.
think it's the
Mhm.
starch, but if you really look at what you're eating, most of the time you're adding something to the food that is causing you to either stay the same or gain weight. So I was just wondering, like I tried to share it with her, but it won't, Zoom won't allow me to share anything. So
Well, this is
I'll,
what I'm
I can,
going to do. What I'm going to do is tomorrow I will share the calorie density chart that we follow, the one that shows a red line and we say we eat to the left of the red line. And then I'll show the slide that you're mentioning so that people can see it. But I have to say one thing, Lorraine. This is unusual, but for some people, once they have lost a good amount of weight, and I know personally some of my whole food plant-based friends that are being very successful in keeping the weight off, at one point they have to, instead of eating all the starch they want or an 80-20 plate, they have to do more of a 50-50. And they have figured out what other things to add that are the calorie density is not high, so that they still have the calories and they still feel satisfied. But sometimes, but it's not very often, but sometimes some people do have to limit a little bit more of the starch. But in general, it's not a good idea to cut it too low. You're right. You're totally right. Okay. You could put that samosa filling into a lettuce leaf. Yeah, yes, that a lettuce wrap. That would be another way to eat it. Or perhaps to use some of that rice paper that they use to make some of the um, I don't know what do you call it, those like vegetable wraps. Yeah, it could be something
isn't
like
it
that.
spring rolls? Spring,
Yeah, spring roll. Right, right. I would use lettuce. Of course, that's less processed, and I would be getting greens. So definitely will do. I'm going to make it again because I thought I was going to bring some left over, but no. So I'm going to make it again. It was really good. So I'll be sharing the recipe tomorrow. Before we finish, I'm going to tell you that either tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I'm going to have a little surprise for you that I hadn't planned on, and a gift that I also hadn't planned on. But this group has been so fun, and it's been so nice to meet many of you. Many of you I know now for a long time. Some of you I don't, and it's been nice. So this morning I was thinking, hey, I want to do something nice for this group. So I'll be announcing it. I just have to work it out, and so make sure that you watch the replay or that you log in for that, either tomorrow or Wednesday, which is going to be our last day. Okay, well, have a great rest of the day. And remember that we're all doing this together, and to stay compliant.
Thanks, Gustavo.
thank you.
All right. You're
Thank you.
welcome. I'll see you all tomorrow. Keep the emails coming. Bye-bye.